Alright, Title 40 CFR Part 1033, Control of Emissions from Locomotives, Subpart A, Overview and Applicability. Applicability link. To amended with the publishers 88 Federal Registry 4484 January 4 and 24, 2023. Regulation Part 1033 apply with the new locomotives and all locomotives containing the new locomotive engine, except provided in 1033-5 standards being to apply each time the locomotive or locomotive engine originally manufactured or otherwise become newly defined. 1033-901 requirements of this part continue to apply specified after the locomotive ceased to be new. B. Standards of the apply with the locomotive, however, the uncertainty of the manufacturer remanufacturer allow with the test locomotive instead of the complete locomotive, such as certification also do not require the complete assemble of the locomotive, the same certificate with the conformity of it, and provided you meet the definition of manufacturer remanufacturer is applicable with 1039-901. For example, the engine manufacturer may obtain a certificate for locomotives which it does not manufacture if the locomotive uses its engines. C. Standards apply based on the year in which the locomotive was originally manufactured, date of the original manufacture, generally with the date of the assembly completed for the first time. For example, a locomotive was originally manufactured calendar years 2002, 2003, 2004, subject to the Tier 1 emission standard for the entire service life. D. The following provisions apply when the multiple persons meet with the definition of manufacturer remanufacturer 1033-901. Each person meeting the definition of manufacturer must comply with the requirements for this part that apply with the manufacturer. Each person meeting the definition of remanufacturer must comply with the requirements for this part that apply to remanufacturer. However, the one person applies specific requirements to give the locomotive for all the manufacturer remanufacturers deemed to have complied with the specific requirements. 2. We will apply requirements of Subpart C, D, and E of this part of the manufacturer remanufacturer. The claim certificate of conformity for the locomotive of the manufacturer remanufacturers are required to comply with the requirements of Subpart C, D, and E. But the parts only with notified by us. In our notification, we specify a reasonable time period within which they need to comply with the requirements identified in Notice 1033-601 for the Applicability Title 40 CFR 1068 for these manufacturer remanufacturers. For example, we require a railroad install the certified kits but does not hold the certificate to perform production line auditing of the locomotive and the remanufacturer. However, if we do, we would allow the railroad reasonable amount of time to develop the ability to perform such auditing. The provision of this part are specified the locomotive manufacturer or remanufactured on the July 7, 2008, or after July 7, 2008, 1033, 1102, determine whether the change of this part stand with the specified with Appendix 1 of this part apply with the model years 2008 through 2012. For example, the locomotive that was originally manufactured in 2007 and manufactured in April 2014. Provision of this part began to apply April 10, 2014. Exemptions and inclusions. Title 40 CFR 1033 Exemptions and Inclusions. 1033-5 with exemption and inclusion linked to the amendment of the publishing Title 88 Federal Registry 4484 January 24, 2003. Subpart trade with the part of the expert exempts the locomotives from the change of this part of the definition of locomotive 1039-901 excluded with the certain vehicle in general with the engine with excluded equipment are subject to the same of the under other regulatory parts. For example, the Title 40 CFR Part 1009 for the requirement to apply with the diesel engine with the equipment excluded from the definition of locomotive 1033-901 for the following locomotives are excluded from the provision Part 1033. Historic locomotives powered by the steam engine of the locomotive originally manufactured after January 1st, 1973, excluded with the part paragraph B1 and may not be used any with the internal combustion engine. Must be used only for the historic purposes such as a museum or simple public attraction. 2. The locomotives powered only by an external source of electricity. C. Requirements of prohibition of the parts apply only for the locomotives that have become the new as defined in 1033-901 after July 7, 2008. The provision of this part do not apply for the auxiliary engine, but they only provide for the hotel power and the general for the engine subject to the provision Title 40 CFR Part 1039. However, depending on the engine cycle, the model year, power rating, the engine may be subject to other regulatory parts. Manufacturers only locomotives that operate only with the non-standard gauge rails may ask to exclude the locomotives from this part, excluding from the definition of locomotive. Alright, that was Title 40 CFR 1033-5 Exemption and Inclusions. 1033-10 Organization of the part. For the regulation part of the 1003 can name for the provision locomotive manufacturer remanufacturers of the others. However, the requirements for the part generally adjust for the locomotive the manufacturer remanufacturer. The term you generally mean for the manufacturer remanufacturer defined in 1033-901. Part 1003 is divided into the following subparts. Subpart with the part plans the applicability 1030 give the overview of regulatory requirements. Subpart B of the part describes the mission statement with the other requirements that must meet with the certified locomotive under this part of the NOVA that 1003-150 that discover the certain interim requirements complying with a provision that apply only for the limited time. Subpart C describes how to apply a certificate of conformity. Subpart D describes the general provision for the testing, auditing, production of locomotives. Subpart E describes the general provision testing and the use of locomotives. Subpart F is of this part, Title 4 CFR Part 1065 that describes how to test locomotive with the engine. Subpart G of the part of the Title 4 CFR 1068 describes the requirement, prohibitions, exemptions, and the other provisions apply with the locomotive remanufacturer of the owners and operators and all others. Subpart H describes how you may generate and use emission credits to certify your locomotive. Subpart I describes the provision of locomotive owners and operators. Subpart J part contains the definition of the reference information. Title 40 CFR 1033-15 other regulations that apply for locomotives. 1033-15 other regulations apply for the locomotives. Part 1065 of the chapter describes the procedure for the equipment, the specification for the testing engine for the measure for the exhaust of the emission. Subpart H for the part with the 1033 describes how to provide the provision. Part with the 1065 of the trial of the test locomotive determine whether the meet exhaust emission standard. Within this part of the requirements of publications. Requirements and prohibitions of Part 1068 of the chapter apply to everyone, including a manufacturer, remanufacturer, import, maintains, owned operators of any locomotives with the subject to Part 1033, see 1033-601 to determine how to apply with the Part 1068 with regulation for the locomotive of the Part 1068 chapter that describes the general provisions including the following areas: 1. Prohibited acts and penalties of locomotives of the remanufacturers and other. 2. The exclusion exemption for certain locomotives. 3. Importing locomotives. 4. Selective enforcement audits of your production. 5. Defective reporting and recall. 6. Procedure for the hearings. C. Other parts of the chapter applied and referenced in this part. Title 40 CFR 1033-30 Submission of Information. 1033-30 Submission of the information unless we specify the others, and all reports are required to approve of the designated compliance officer for the 1033-901. 1033-901, 1033-925 with additional reporting record keeps provisions. And that was Title 40 CFR Subpart A Overview and Applicability.